Hey guys, we're live it looks like, and welcome back Rob, who's regular panel member from Aquatic Aesthetics, and Malik from Aqua Malik. So it may just be us three again tonight. Skipper may join us in a little bit, but due to the Father's Day holiday, a lot of people have commitments for dinners and that kind of thing. So we decided just to go ahead and go with it anyway. And been looking at the comments and in fact commenting in the chat. So I think we'd just rather than go through and call everybody's name out, if it's okay with the chat members, we just
Yeah.
go ahead and get right into it.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
we don't have a primary topic. We calling this part two, and can certainly pick up with your questions and discussion from last week, or we can go into any topic that anybody on the panel, the guest, or anybody in chat would like to. It's kind of a free for all. Bless you. That
Thank
wasn't
you.
really a sneeze, though, was
No,
it?
no, I coughed.
I don't think you're supposed to blast cough, so you've got a freebie already there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can bless somebody for anything you like, unless it's bad.
Well,
yeah, agreed.
yeah, I guess that's true. So be
What's going
blessed,
on,
pal.
Michael Fever? It's a lot of the same
Hey,
people.
Pam. Pam was one of the ones that gave us a comment, a positive comment last week. She had fallen asleep before because she stays up all night. But anyway, she gave us a very favorable comment and went back and rewatched. So appreciate that, Pam. And several people in here did. So really appreciate it. What's going on, Rob?
Oh, nothing new. Um, Same old stuff at the store. Uh,
Oh, by the way, I know you're my. I think they're adult mice, not
yeah,
rats.
yeah,
Correct?
your mice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got them in the freezer.
Ed was telling me about it on some stream, and I'm like, yep, I got to get some money first, Ed. So that'll be Thursday. So I haven't forgotten them. Plus, Tammy told me, messaged me that she ordered some of the frozen foods that you didn't have in the flats. So
Yep,
my plan is
yep,
Thursday. I've already got a list when I have money of the things I'm going to do that day.
yeah. We've got the spirulina brine in for you, the flat packs.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Did you guys
And
get that?
Malik, what's up with you?
Nothing
I
really.
was on your stream earlier, so
Oh yeah, you were. Yes, I went a little off the rails, but I tried to keep it a better control than last time. last Friday was bit more crazier, but today it's just certain things kind of get on my nerves, you know. So it's been pent up for a
oh
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, just so I had to kind of speak my mind there for a bit at the end.
I'm, I might have missed last time because I don't remember
Yeah,
anything
it was right at the
out of
end
order, so I'll have to
for the
go back and
last
double
like
check.
I made it private. I was like, nah, I can't let people see that anymore. But it was
Oh,
basically
okay,
basically
okay,
I just a few things that were happening. There's positives and negatives in FishTube, you know. And one of the positive things I guess I should talk about is some of the channels are making really good content. Some of the bigger channels like KG Tropics, for example, or Primetime Aquatics, you know, like really good channels. And then there's some other channels that used to be really good but has become commercialized a little bit, you know. So it's and then there's also a lot of misinformation and incomplete information, especially from people that shouldn't be giving that type of incomplete information. And it kind of gets on my nerve when that happens, you know. And then it becomes like, oh, here's some incomplete information and here's a commercial, you know, of like whatever we're selling. And I'm like, that's not what we're here to get from a lot of these channels. You know, a lot of people pay money to be a part of it,
right.
and it kind of bothered me a little bit the last few weeks as I was thinking about this and watching some of the videos, because I watch a lot of the videos. You know, that's what I like to do, like more than the streams. I'm actually sitting
Yep,
there watching videos to get information. You know, because I'm always learning too. You know, so
right.
that kind of bothered me, some of the things. So I kind of talked about it a bit. But I try not to like single any person out. It's not just one person. It's some of the bigger channels, like like even like people here, like in my country, that have big channels.
You know, I must
Hmm.
agree.
Trying to think. Oh,
Um,
okay.
even I put up a video. Um, I guess it was one of the last videos I did for the month of February, where I put up a video every day, and it was why I do YouTube.
Yeah,
And the truth of the matter is, I don't want to be Corey. I don't. I want to be the anonymous fish store owner that's able to walk into another fish store and not get autograph lines behind them.
right.
Um, I don't want that
Right.
kind of fame. But the truth of the matter is, I do it to promote my business. So I get it on
Sure.
their side,
Right.
but it's going a little too far as of late.
Yeah, it's not even the commercials. I don't mind that. Like, yeah, whatever, but at least give complete information to an extent, like try to like
Yeah,
help people, like how like when they first started, like that's the thing. Like I've been following a lot of these big channels like for a long time. I'm pretty sure all of you guys have too, right? So it's
you know, and I mentioned Corey's name. I'm not saying that he's one of the ones I'm saying that about.
yeah,
Um, he's just one of the big names out there who actually gave me a lot of very good advice before I
right.
started up.
Yeah,
So
you
I've got
talked
a
about
lot
it.
of respect about for that man.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, he's um, he's done a good thing for the hobby. He provides a lot of good information, and so I like that side of it. But there are others that the information they provide is um, sometimes outdated.
either that,
Um,
yes.
I mean, even Bob will remember this back in the 70s. Once a month, we were pulling the fish out, putting them in cups, cleaning our tanks, sterilizing them, filling them back up with water. After we rinsed the gravel out, put everything back in the tank, and that was common practice. They didn't know, we didn't know about the nitrogen cycle. The whole hobby was new. There were
Yeah,
a few people that knew it, figured it out that if you just left it alone, it
it'll
it will
balance
take care
itself.
of itself. um, and a few of them figured that out through laziness, and a few of them were actually pretty smart people that were had degrees and such like that, and went further. And by the 80s, we had filters, and
Underground filters, yeah. With air.
we knew how these things worked, and we
Yeah,
didn't just have undergravel filters. There were other options.
like box
Well,
filters.
we
Box
had box
filters.
filters in
Yes,
the
absolutely.
Yeah,
60s. We
yeah.
sure
I,
did.
Yeah,
I
The
remember
late
those.
60s.
yeah. But the thing was, you didn't have the information like the internet, like we have now,
Right,
where
right.
anybody can get that information. Now in the hobby, it is common knowledge. In the 70s,
There wasn't.
no,
Yeah,
90% of the people were sterilizing their tanks on a monthly basis and restarting them.
yeah. I mean, I knew one person that did that, like till like very recently. But I showed him like a few videos online, and I said, "Go watch these," and he was like, "Oh my God, really?" It's like, yeah,
uh, I still have a customer or two that come in, and I have to inform them that a clean tank is an unhealthy tank.
Yep.
it's too
And
sterile.
in some cases, in one case at least, she did away with the tank. That was not allowed in her house. uh,
It was too dirty.
yep. And there's people like that. You got to live with it. They got to live with it. So
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
But
Steiner, for the super chat. Awesome.
yeah,
Says
thank you, Steiner.
Discus.
wow,
Yeah,
nice
he
one.
he has some really nice water where he lives, and he has some really
Yeah.
nice discus,
Yeah.
like very nice
He's
fish.
he's a member on your channel, I recall from
Yes,
today.
yes, yes, yes.
Nice guy.
He's actually my first member. As soon as I opened the member section, I was like, "Oh, wait, somebody already joined," and it was him. But
You
yeah,
just opened up membership. You took a while to do that.
yeah.
Was
Initially,
it
sorry.
was it watch hours you were waiting for, or
No,
what?
no, I had that last year. I felt like initially it was like because I mean the ad revenues are okay, whatever, because that gets views. But initially my channels are doing okay, so I just thought, okay, if I don't need to open the member section, it's fine, whatever. But then I noticed a change in my algorithm, like the growth stopped, so that's why I kind of like did it, and then it started. Now I started getting more subscribers and stuff regularly because I think the algorithm was not pushing me to new people at the time, you know, like 55% of the people that watch my videos is subscribed, which is weird because other channels have like 30 to 40% subscription rate, which is normal, right? So like that means a lot of my videos are only shown to the same people.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
then I was like, yeah, that's not good. So I just did that, and then all of a sudden it was just started adding up more subscribers and stuff. So they asked me to do a few different things. I get like on my, I don't know, you have the same thing on your whatever
I
studio.
noticed one of your member perks when I was trying to share the member thing today, link, was that members are called out in videos. Do you mean videos and live chats or
I
live
mean,
chats?
yeah, both.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I usually, yeah, I said I would in live chat. So now that I said not going to go through and say hi to everybody, but I hate that
Yes,
because then you single out. But
I
see
just
who
say
some
hi to
of them.
everyone.
Yeah,
And I just remind
There you
people
go.
like, hey, like I say hi to everyone, and then like if it's one of my members like Steiner, I would say, hey, by the way, Steiner is a member of the channel. Thank you, Steiner, for doing that, because it does help me out because like I want to buy a
yeah,
headset. Like this month, there's like 40-50 bucks extra from the members, which I'm gonna
right,
directly buy a new headset with. So like
exactly.
makes my channel better when I can do this. You know what I mean? I'm moving tanks up here, like I'm doing other little things. So it helps me, it motivates me, it buys the things that I need to set up. So like makes things better for the channel too. So I kind of like think of it like that, and it's an investment
Right.
everybody's making towards our channels for us to continue to do this because I think Chris Biggs, the he was on the chat last week.
Right.
After that we were talking on Facebook Messenger for a minute, and he asked me how do I find the time to make all the videos, to maintain all the tanks, and I'll just also be on live stream. And I said, buddy, like I'm on COVID lockdown, that's why I can do this. Otherwise I would be,
Right.
you know what I mean, like once I start working again, I'll be out there like a lot of the week, so I wouldn't have time to be on anybody else's live stream that often. I might be able to do the Sunday thing, like my own as well as like maybe yours or somebody else's for like a Sunday an hour or whatever. But in general, it wouldn't be something that like, so it does take up time. So like, if let's say I was actually talking about this on my last live stream, if 100 people or 200 people became members, then that's like offsetting a decent portion of my expenses, so I don't have to actually actively go out and work for that money, right? So I can actually spend more time making videos, doing, you know what I mean, like, so it does make the channel better. So
Right.
i
Oh,
see
for
i
sure.
see I see what YouTube is telling me, and like I did some of their tutorials and they're explaining all this stuff, and it makes sense. So I'm kind of trying to like, because I work for TV, so like, I mean, I'm looking at my channel now like a TV station. And the good thing about it is with member subscriptions and stuff like that, I can actually make good content that I want to make, that you guys would want to see, without worrying about too much about advertisers or whoever. You know what I mean? Like this is really um, paid by you TV. Like
Yeah.
Right.
reality is that's what it really is. So I'm looking at it in that context. And I used to work for a TV station for a bit, and nothing like major, just writing music and stuff and whatever. But it still like gives me that sense of like, the potential, right? So like I'm looking at it like that. And so it all kind of added up, like, and kind of like where you should be able to read a few blogs, watch a few videos, and
Tammy.
sounds right. Same for
Ah,
me. So here's the thing, with the car, yes and no. Like, I mean, I have friends who are mechanics. They're really good. I'm somewhat proficient with, like, I can probably change my own oil if I wanted to, like, just by like figuring out where my oil heads are, and like, you know what I mean, like in my particular car, whatever. But the average person, it might not be like, but like changing a tire, yes, and most people can watch a video or like be taught really easy to change a tire. But like fish keeping, it depends, like, yes, you can learn quite a bit, but there's also hands-on. Like, I don't think you can learn
yeah.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I will tell you firsthand that I learned a tremendous amount from YouTube going into the saltwater side of things.
Same.
I'm not ashamed to say that when we opened the store, I had absolutely zero saltwater experience. My partner, one of my partners, my wife was the other partner. Um, he he didn't want to stick with things. The 9 to 5 lifestyle is not for him.
Right.
And so we essentially bought him out. Me and my wife did. And I'm looking at this big 4 foot by 4 foot tank, frag tank, 12 inches deep, with nothing in it, just been cycled. And I'm thinking, okay, what do I do here? Do I take a crash course in saltwater and fill this thing up with coral? Or do I make it the most expensive freshwater plant tank in Chattanooga?
Right.
Those were my options.
Two options, yeah.
And I considered both. And I decided to take that crash course, and I'm certainly glad I did. I figured it
I'm
out.
glad you did too.
I haven't figured everything out. I'm just like anybody else. I'm always learning, and anybody that says they know it all, they should know better.
Well, here's the funny
Steer
story.
clear. Steer clear.
Like when I mean, even now, like I have some channels highlighted on my channel, like TM Aquatics, for example. I learn a crap ton from him. Like, I mean, I learned so much from him all the time. Even when he's like, he hasn't made a new
Yep.
video in a while until he just did a fish room tour. But then when he did the fish room tour, I was like watching it, and then I learned a bunch because he was talking about corridoras, which I'm trying to breed. So like, we're always learning. There's like thousands of different fish types. You know what I mean? And like, I'm brand new to keeping corridoras. Maybe like this is my second or third year keeping some of the really rare ones, and I'm keeping them alive. They're doing good. But like, when it comes to breeding, they tell me to like leave the tank for like 8-9 weeks until my pH drops to like whatever amount, and I'm like, that's a little scary, like I spent a lot of money on that fish. I can't afford that. But I'm always I'm always learning from a lot of different people, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of times, like, even if I know about a lot about one particular thing, I might not know about the other things. So when we're all watching each other's channels, or when we're doing that, we're always trying to gain information.
Yep. Exactly. And you say you have to be practicing while you're learning. And one of the things I learned, not saltwater, this was freshwater. I had some Jack Dempseys in my tank, and I'd had them for about a year. They hadn't bred. They hadn't seen any sign of activity. They were of size. Well, I saw a sign of activity, but never saw any breeding. But at the time, due to my career, I didn't have time to focus on my fish tank. So there were many times that I waited until the filter stopped dripping water into the tank, and literally dripping, until I went and topped things off. Well, one time, I went to go top it off, and it needed it bad. That filter was grinding. Everybody knows that sound. Hang on back filter.
Oh yeah.
Completely dry.
Yeah, it was dry, and I'm okay. I got to get water in there now, and I pull up that dechlorinator bottle, and everything was crystallized on it, and there was no liquid in it, and I'm just like, okay, this is useless. And at the time, it was about midnight. Walmart, out of the question. I don't buy anything fish from them. I did not own a store at the time, so didn't have access that way. And I went outside, and there was a rain bucket. And I figured, okay, I'll use this water.
Okay.
I poured that water in, and within 18 hours, there were eggs down.
Wow. Yeah.
And I realized what I had done is, and now
rainwater.
that rainwater was fresh. It wasn't just a stagnant bucket out there. It was a bucket that had just gone out a few days before, and we'd had a lot of rain. So I knew the water was good, other than just being rain. But what I did, in a sense, was I fooled the fish. Gave them a period of low water, which simulates the dry season,
Right.
followed by a flood of rainwater, low pH water,
Perfect.
that triggers them and tells them it's monsoon season.
Now it's time to breed. Yep.
Yes.
Right.
And so I learned that on my own, and I've learned that that's true with many other cichlids, and you can do the same thing.
Same thing with plecos. Same thing with corridors.
Yeah.
Exact
it was
same thing.
a very interesting little lesson that I learned just on my own. Wasn't trying to breed them. And I wish I had owned a store at that time, so I would have had a source to find them homes.
Mary Page left a nice message and a super chat. Thank you, Mary Page. And she says, hello, Bob, Malik, Rob, and everyone. Happy Father's Day to all the incredible dads out there and all the fish and animal dads. How sweet.
Hello, Mary.
She's one of our members, too.
Yes.
Mary Page. She's awesome.
She's a sweetheart. She's been supporting my channel since day one. So,
awesome.
since I had like 100 subscribers, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ames.
Yeah, I love the corridoras too, and in fact, I may have told Rob that I've often said on my channel I kind of quit showing a lot of the corries because I have way too many, and I don't get rid of them.
Mine just haven't bred for me, so I kind of feel ashamed because it's just like they're in a tank, they're eating my food, and I like I have them there, and I'm trying everything in the world. Like I see action, like I see them trying to spawn. But I never, like, the really nice ones that I haven't seen eggs. So, like, I know I'm not spending enough time. So I kind of, like, I am neglecting them more than I should, but not enough, I guess. So it's kind of like one of those situations. So I need to make updates on them because they have some nice ones. But like you said, it's just, like, mine haven't done, like, my pygmaeus are breeding like rabbits nonstop. And that's about it. My Palearis used to breed, but they're old now, so they don't breed anymore. And I only have 3 left. So, but everything else, like, I see action, but no eggs, no fry, not yet. So, it's sad. It's a challenge,
I know. I know. They're still great fish, though.
Yeah, they are.
Currently, I think I'm breeding. Let's see. Dwarf orange Mexican lobsters. That's a brand new one I just started. 4 different colors of neocaradinas.
Nice.
Shrimp. Several different types of endlers.
Oh yeah.
And getting ready to set up the tub outside for some hamburger swordtails.
Right, you talked about it last week. You told us about them. Yes.
Yeah, just beautiful.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting my hand on some of those because I like the rarer, like not so commonly available ones.
Yeah. Odd name, but beautiful fish.
Yeah. Also, like I think a gentleman in the U.S. has the really nice high fin swordtails, like the top fin almost looks like a rose petal, like it's like kind of frilled, really big
Oh,
dorsal.
nice.
I forgot the gentleman's name, and he doesn't sell them to anybody. He's just a hobbyist, and he's the one person that I know that has them. I've heard about him. I've seen videos about it, whatever. Just haven't been able to get them, so I would like to get those. They're like really nice, bright red one. But that's the one red I actually like. The regular red ones with a regular dorsal doesn't look that nice. You know, it looks okay. I'm not a big fan of them. You know, I like the rarer stuff, like the cooler.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan's Fish had those a couple of times, and there's a problem with the breeding on them. A lot of sterility and stuff, but I don't remember the exact information. Do you, Malik? Yeah.
It's how it works is, I think Charles from Goliath Farms explains this the best. It's if both parents carry for that particular mutation, like the one that we were talking about, that gentleman's strain, if the both parents carry the hyphen mutation, then the fry are born dead. So you have to have 50% of the fry, or 25%, or whatever percentage has to be non-carriers of the mutation to further the line. So you have to constantly breed. So I have the same problem with I have these guppies that I got from Placo Fever, which are the ribbon fin like guppies. So I have the 24 karat ribbon fin Dumbo guppies. Okay, so they're really nice, but the males that have the long gonopodium cannot reproduce. So you need to have females with the long ribbon fin plus males that carry the ribbon fin gene but have the shorter gonopodium. You know, it's so weird. Like, because I have a male, like I'll make a video on this. There's 3 males and 3 females that I got from him. 2 of the males have the short gonopodium, and I'm like, yes, thank God, I have some breeders, you know. But I have a really nice male. He's big. He has a really nice body conformation, color, everything. But he can't breed because his thing is too long and too big.
I'm just waiting for the chat to go nuts.
You know, so it's just a sad reality of some of these recessive mutations, and Charles is really good about explaining this stuff. I really like his channel, and I'm really happy he's making a lot more videos now. Before he was like making the odd video, and but now he's actually making videos almost every day, so I'm really happy about that, because it's a lot of knowledge there, and he's very free about it, and that's the thing, you know. Like, so when you have somebody like that giving the information like so freely, and then you have other people kind of like giving misinformation or incomplete information, or just like using the YouTube platform to generate revenue, but not really being of value to the fish keeping community, that kind of bothers me a little bit, you know. So just to give the comparison of the two, you know.
I've heard some breeders of those the ribbons talk about trimming their gonopodiums.
Yes, I've actually thought about it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about doing it.
Jesus.
It's really big. It's just like, I mean, I've tried putting other females in there with him. He's still young. He's not even fully grown. He's like a little thing, like maybe 3/4 of an inch. You know, but his gonopodium is like a 1/2 inch, like more than the length
my God.
of the fish. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It goes past his the tail. So, you know, you have the delta tail of the guppy. So he's not a big one yet. He's still like a 4-month-old baby. And so his delta tail is still like decently sized. It's like maybe 1/3 of the fish. And the gonopodium is literally past the tail now.
I think the only reason the text isn't going nuts is because they don't know what a gonopodium is on a fish.
That's why I use that word.
Let's just say that's a circumcision, folks.
It's more than that, I think. It's like trimming a lot.
Uh-oh. Dank got my secret out. There it is, guys. Training to be a robot. I must be being too quiet again this week. Sorry.
No, you're your video feed is a little bit of a freeze frame, not frozen,
Is that what it is?
but
Maybe.
just kind of still
Yeah,
locked.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, normally I have really good Wi-Fi on this truck, so I may
The
have another
audio is
Wi-Fi.
coming out outstanding for
Yes.
once.
Oh, that's
But
good.
the video is just a little choppy,
Okay.
but that's not bad.
Yeah. We can hear
Okay.
you clearly and see you clearly, so it's good.
The less you see me, the better, right?
Don't say that, Bob. We like seeing you. I think that's why everybody's here, right? It's your stream.
Well, I hope they're here for information. That's why I'm here.
Yes, I think that's one of the main reasons I think why we all are here, right? Like I try to do that in my chats a lot too. Like I'll make jokes all the time, but at the same time I'll also like try to answer all the questions. So let's try to do that a little bit. If there's any questions.
Andre, I assume that you're talking about what we all perceive a wizard to look like, and that would be
Mhm.
Rob
Yeah, I need my
Johnson.
hat.
Yeah, had to take his hat off for the vid for the film. He's a regular
There we
panel
go.
member. There
There
you
you
go.
go. I like that hat. It's nice.
Oh, there's Adele. So we have some action now in the chat.
Who's Adele S?
No, she's collaboration of Curiosities.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Australian, awesome sense of humor. Adele, we were just talking about guppies with very large gonopodiums. The
Does
ribbon.
anybody really know what a gonopodium is? Well, we'll explain this. It's the male part of the guppy fish, essentially.
Yeah, only the male has it.
Yes, and also all other live bears have it. I
A
don't.
good way to describe it is when you look at a fish, any of the live bears, the anal fin, the fin that's right there where they're pooping at, hence the anal fin, on a female is going to be a solid fin. On a male, it's going to look like this. And he's going to
Cracked
be
up.
able to steer it to the side as he comes by a fish. And you can guess what he's forcing on the female.
He does his job. So, but what we were talking about is the recessive traits of the how do you say the ribbon fin guppies, and how the males have a problem reproducing because of the gonopodium being excessively large. And
Oh,
but
right, Adele. Right, Adele. I believe
good
that. I believe that.
collaboration of curiosity has not. So there we go. Now we know. But essentially, with the high fins, there Charles explained this on his one of his videos actually really well. He said he has a strain that is not sterile 100%. So if both parents carry 100% hyphen genes, he can produce 100% fry, at least from what he's seen. So his strain has a different genotype like than the other gentleman's strain in the US that produces a really nice high dorsal swordtails. So that's what he was explaining. So like I'm hoping that that's the case with his strain, so that he can pass it on a lot of them to the rest of us. So we'll have some nicer fish to work with, to develop the high fins and stuff. Because you can actually, I've seen some fish that are really nice. So it's just hard to find.
That would be those. That's it, Adele. It's the ones that get the snip sometimes.
Yep. Yeah.
You're talking
Never would
about
have crossed my
how they
mind.
line up with the female.
Oh,
How they line up with the female. I was afraid you were going to say the S word, because you can't say anything, it seems like, anymore. No, I'm teasing, but somebody the other day in a video said delivers a package of reproductive material. And I thought, just say
Milk
sperm.
would
Everybody
be the
knows
word for
ideally,
fish.
milk.
Milk.
Yes. That's
Well,
right.
I know that word, but I thought milk was just spread in the water over eggs. But
I
I
think
don't know.
it's
Just a
generally used
misconception.
It
for
may be different with the live bear,
yeah.
but I use the term milk
Something
just
something
for
for
I agree.
even when dealing with customers,
right.
because sometimes they ask about breeding and particularly with live bears and how they store. You have to be able to tell them what they're storing for 18 months.
A
And
package of
without
reproductive
saying the
material.
S word,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. I
or
have nieces and
the
nephews.
equivalent of a what would it be? An E3 in the United States Navy. Uh, the third rank, everyone's heard it. Um, but yeah, short of that, milk, and that's the word I use for them. And there's no connotations with the word,
I think
and
that's a good word. Yeah,
no one freaks out.
yeah, and I think it's when somebody's younger, they can't understand it. So that's a good way to
Yes,
yes, and then it's not too So it's good, I
too
think.
graphic.
Yes, yes. But like again, this is why I find I used to have ribbon fin guppies in the past, like 10, 15 years ago when they first started coming out, like 10 years ago maybe. And and I was like trying to breed them. Nobody would tell us because they're selling you like for $100 one male with this giant gonopodium and two really nice females that are like virgins, right? That's what they tell you. Like so, the unhit. That's the word. So if you buy guppies from the Asian markets and you import them like for $100, you'll get these three gorgeous fish. And you put them in your tank and you're waiting, and your females are not getting pregnant. Like, months go by and they get old and they just never got pregnant. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, so yeah, like that's another thing that I had to learn on my own. But by the time I learned it, I was not interested in breeding those anymore. I was just like, yeah, this is just too much work.
One thing I've always been curious of from the fish distributors, when I buy the females
Mm-hmm.
and they come in pre-hit, they're, I mean, almost swollen, ready to pop. So the question is, um, whose milk is that?
Could be the same.
And was that female of the same type? So could you get a solid strain out of the babies?
Quite
For
possibly.
instance, was a breeder breeding one specific strain and had too many females because he's going to get way too many babies. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So he's culling females. Well, if
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
already pre-hit from a male, you may find a very good one to have in your tank
You might find a
to
whole bunch, yes.
leave
Yes.
you some babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes with a war chest, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite possible.
So that's something I've been thinking about when they come in like that is just move them to the side, let them have their babies and see what I get.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, he's saying pre-hit as
Yes.
opposed to hit,
Yeah.
meaning they're not pregnant. Supposedly they're virgins.
Right. So
Yeah,
before that.
hit before I get them. Yeah, I guess pre-hit would be a oxymoron because they're hit.
Yeah. Exactly.
But hit prior to
So you getting
arriving
them.
at my store. Obvious hit.
Yeah. But again, they could be from the same strain, which is good, and you could get the same kind of babies. Like it's quite possible. Like I've seen that happen quite a bit in the past. With me, and like I've picked up fish that I brought them home and they have babies, and I'm like, whoa, these are nice. Like I didn't expect the babies to be this nice, but they're all
Yep.
like, like a really nice strain. But then also sometimes they could be mixes because they mix them around just so
Right. It could be. It could have just been a scrap female bin that a male got into, a
Yeah.
sleeper male, and just fertilize each and every one he could.
Yeah.
But if you get a female that pops out babies that all look the same,
It's very likely it's the
and
same
you don't
strain.
have half and half,
Yeah.
and particularly
Right.
what you're going to get is you're going to get maybe what I like, or a buddy of mine likes to call, and I've kind of adopted the term, Joker gene.
Like an
Something that
in-between.
comes out a little different on one of the specific males. You already have his mother, and if you backbreed him to that female, then you can make that trait primary, in
Right.
my understanding. So if you're able to do that, and you're able to lock that gene down, then you can reproduce it.
Right. Right. I mean, the guys
Haynes
in
is
Asia,
asking.
unhit or pre-hit. I think it's called virgin and not like the pre-hit or hit. Like it's if it's a virgin female, that's what they have it advertised. That's all the time. Like like I have one male and three virgin females, or like you know.
I got to do it.
And
He
Yeah,
does it to me.
yeah. You couldn't have held up a better logo, that's for sure.
Yeah, I sure could have, but you need to make sure you bring me some.
I got a stack of them
Just
right
kidding,
here.
Ed.
It's the man. Ed,
Yeah,
are you
Bob.
back? Are you back? I don't see you backstage anyway. I gotta. Oh, carpet pythons. I love it when some of the people, the reptile people I'm subscribed to, come over and uh, watch the fish streams too.
I mean,
Love it.
I watch reptile stuff though. That's the funny thing. Like, I'm always watching like ball pythons, like mutation creations. I'm always on their stream when they're egg cutting. I'm always like, I want to see what you're getting in there. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's. I mean, I think we're not just fish people. Like, I always think that because like I'm an animal person. Like, if I could keep more animals, I would. Like, it's just a lot more work, and I just don't want to do more work. That's the main reason why I don't have like butterflies or like scorpions or like whatever it is that everybody else keeps. And I used to keep
Right.
dart frogs. Like I used to breed them, quite a bit of them actually. And then
Oh,
I had a snake, couple of snakes. Um, didn't really breed any snakes, but I was really into them. Like I used to have like all kinds of like
do you
reptiles.
know? Do you know Dank Tank that was saying that about the robot? He breeds dart frogs. He was up there earlier.
Oh
He was
yeah,
saying I was practicing to be a robot. Yeah, he
you
breeds.
or him.
I've considered bringing frogs into the store,
They're
but
nice.
it would have to be on the next expansion. The only way that would be possible. Um,
Get some nice
oh,
little snakes, Rob.
um,
Yes, snakes are nice.
yes, but all reptiles. You pretty much got to have a separate room. They smell.
Yes, yes, they do.
Uh,
Mind
Snakes
it.
especially. Yeah,
yeah.
Mind it. He's right by the dining room table.
I
That's
would.
one of them. But you're talking about a store.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
he's closed
so
up in there too.
yeah, yeah. For that, pretty much the other things other than fish I would consider would be arachnids,
yeah,
um,
they're fun.
and yeah, probably just those two.
And like I really think there's a huge market for what do you call those mantis, praying mantis. There's some really
Yes.
nice ones. Like
Oh,
that.
boy, do I have a story for you. I was in the Navy. I was in Guam. I wasn't an E3. I was an E4.
Okay.
So I wasn't one of those S words. Just so we can take things back. But I was waiting for someone to pick me up in Guam, and I'm sitting there in the parking lot right next to this bush, and I'm watching this American chameleon is what it actually was, but they have him in Guam too. And he's running up, and these look like regular lizards, but They have color changing ability, and he's running up the bush, and just right in front of me, out of nowhere, I see this thing just and just grabs him like that.
Yeah.
And just starts gnawing away at his neck. Has him instantly. It's his.
Yeah.
And it was right in front of me. I never saw him. And he was
They're
just
super cool.
yeah, one of those things. I wish I had just been videoing that lizard to catch that. But
Yeah.
this was during a time cell phones didn't exist. This was, well, I guess they did. But they were bricks. And they didn't take video, that's for sure.
They didn't have a camera back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. I like mantises. Like some of there's some really nice looking ones, and like they're like expensive too. Some of them. And
I like any species that what I like to call alien species. Those are one of them.
Yeah.
Harlequin shrimp. That's another one.
Mantis shrimp. Like the
mantis shrimp.
The peacock
that
mantises,
would certainly be an alien species.
Oh yeah,
something you would see in an alien horror film.
Somebody was telling me how the mantis shrimp. I've got a little peacock mantis, and it's a cute little thing.
I know. I saw the video.
That they used to come in on a lot of corals and stuff, and they were considered junk shrimp, and they would just be, thrown away.
Well, in many cases, it would just in many cases it would just be a mantis shrimp, not necessarily a peacock mantis.
Yes.
And I knew a person that had a shipment of live rock come in, and he's pulling all the live rock out of the box, and he grabbed hold of one, and as he's grabbing it, his thumb touched over the hole, would just happen to have a mantis shrimp in there, and it split him open.
Those things are
all the way
powerful.
across the thumb.
Yeah, sharp as hell.
It's not that they're sharp. It's they hit with enough impact that they can break an aquarium.
Right.
It's a hammer that is on the end, and there's several different types, but for the most part, it's a hammer that's on the end there, and it hit his thumb with such force that it just split it open.
Wow.
Those things are vicious, but they're fun to feed. And Bob probably
Bob is now thinking, should I put my hand in there for a video?
Thumb splitter. I've had my hand in there for a couple videos, but it was to find him, to see, okay, that he's still there.
Oh,
but
my
he
God,
stays out
brave.
a lot.
You're brave
No,
to put
I
your
feed
hand
him
in
with
there.
a real long pipette.
Okay,
I
good.
don't put my hand down to feed him. I don't get that. They call them thumb splitters for a reason. That's their nickname.
Yeah.
And they can break, a bigger one can break your arm. They really can.
They can break the glass in the tank for sure. I mean,
yes.
I had a small one that came as a hitchhiker. It ate my fish, and then eventually it was the only thing in the tank, so I just kept it alive for a while. And
for the most part, the tanks they're able to break are either real thin, so someone's either got them in a small tank, or they've got them in a tank made of tempered glass.
I had him in a 5.5 gallon, so thin glass,
Yeah.
And so when he got to about 2 inches, he was hammering on the glass a few times, and I gave him back to the pet store. He was nice, like a nice greenish kind of peacock mantis. So
yeah,
the glass probably would have held at his size, but if he kept growing,
he got bigger, it would have been a problem.
The tempered glass, the windshield glass, or like the side window of your car, everyone sees what happens when those break. That's tempered glass. That's the type of glass that tends to be a problem in fish tanks with mantis shrimp. Because an impact in a single spot will shatter the whole thing.
Like into little spider webs.
Yeah, it's safety glass is what it is.
Yeah.
It's meant to break up in squares rather than split off into real sharp points like a spider web or whatever. But they can, in fact, break your smaller tank as they grow.
Yeah, if they got to like a size, yes.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about putting a couple of marine, of course, snails in there. I've got a ton of them, or maybe even a couple of little red leg or blue leg crabs, the little bitty guys.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I didn't know if
Don't
you
put
would
a
kill
bunch
them.
in there. Just put one at a time because as soon as he sees it, smells it, tastes it in the water, he's going to go get it. And if you
Really,
put several,
he's only that big.
He can
if
do some damage.
yes, he can.
Yeah, I've seen mine like 2 inch little thing, like not even 2 inches, like probably at 1.5 inches. He was eating like some really nice little fish that I had in my 5.5. Like I
Yes,
had like two
mantis
or three.
shrimp, Placo.
I like my snails and my crabs. I don't know if I want him to have those.
Yeah, they can go after anything. I think like he was the only thing in the tank. He ate all my shrimp, everything in the tank. I don't think he ate any of the
Wow.
snails, but he ate everything else.
I might try one snail because they're pretty thick.
Yeah, he the snail might make it. I don't know. Like Rob might know better than me on this one.
I don't have any personal experience with them. Just what I've seen on videos, read about. He may not go after a larger one, but that may look like a 5 course dinner for him.
Escargot. Courtesy of like the pet store,
Yeah,
I
calcium for his
wouldn't
shell and everything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't mind seeing him eat more. He's been eating jumbo bloodworms and like a little bit of frozen brine shrimp, but he's not a big eater.
I mean,
I may try one.
You can try one. I would say
Yeah,
try feeding him a piece of fish first. And if he's full, I don't think he'll go after it, especially if he's small now and you have it with him, like the snail with him, like since the size, and you feed him heavily, I don't think he might. I mean, it's a possibility he might just leave it alone. But I think Placo Fever said you can keep it in a plastic. You know those least specimen containers? No, that's not the right
right.
one.
Yep.
The little kids ones. They're like come in different colors. They're like little tanks with the
Like a
kind of
critter cage thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just
yeah,
about any acrylic or even plastic tank
yeah.
can hold them just fine.
And you can keep that
Um,
inside your tank too, with your
yeah,
menu.
and I have seen someone take little thin strips of acrylic that were 2 inches high that they put across their tank at the bottom level.
So you can't just do that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's hitting the acrylic and he's not hitting the glass.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't want to cover your whole tank like that because algae will get in between and it gets to be a pain in the butt to clean.
yeah.
But he was able to do that and get in there and clean it rather well, or just ignore it. But that's a good technique that works.
Huh. So far, he's not banging on the glass, but he definitely seems to see me and react to me going over. And I've got some corals in there. Uh, I can never remember the name of the tree. I call it Africa tree, but that's not.
A
It's
Kenya tree.
Kenya, and I can never remember the right country. Kenya tree. Yeah, and he didn't bother that, of course.
No, I don't think they go after corals, which is a good thing. They're good in tanks that you don't have anything else in except corals. They don't touch the coral. With the coral, I had a coral crab that came in with one of the live rocks. So he went to town and he ate a bunch of my soft corals. So I just gave up on the saltwater thing after that. I said, this is too expensive. There's too much problems. So,
Those little tiny octopus-looking things I was going to bring you, Robin, I never have. I put some of those in there, and I don't see them anymore. So he may have got those. I don't know. You know the
Hmm.
little white star things? Not octopus, star. Octopus, little
Oh,
octopus.
Astriana stars.
Astriana stars. That's it.
Something,
Octopus.
something like that. Astrana stars. I never can get that name right.
But definitely not an octopus.
Yeah, I'll
People are
take
like,
all those
what?
guys you want to bring me. Those
You let him kill your
harlequin shrimp I've
octopus?
got. They're costing me, as a fish store owner, two of them, They're costing me about $35 a month to feed.
What?
Yeah,
Holy
all they eat is starfish. I love
Wow.
those little guys. I can't. I got to keep feeding them. I took them in, so.
No, fair enough. That's true. That's
But they're probably one of the most expensive critters to keep, because starfish typically costs a person about $20 a piece, and maybe 16 if you're lucky. But typically $20, and the pair I've got right now, they're going through a starfish in 4 days.
wow.
That is as long as it's taken them so far.
That's
Um,
insane.
yeah, it's. But I tell you what, it's been such a experience being
Oh, I
able
bet.
to point these guys out, because they live on a rock right at the corner of the tank, where
Okay.
my customers can come up and see them. The substrate is black, and underneath their rock is all these little white pebbles everywhere, and they're starfish bones, is what they are.
Oh,
Wow.
From all the starfish they've taken there, but I get to teach people about what happens there, and I mean, these guys go as far as, when they live in a cave, they don't have any caves there, so they don't have the ability. But when they live in a cave, they'll go out and harvest algae, bring it back, and force feed the starfish to keep it alive while they feed on it.
Oh my God. See,
Yeah,
this is
these guys.
super interesting. I love that already.
Yeah, harlequin shrimp. I call them my little aliens.
I might get some of those now that you just talked about it. I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, look them up.
How
It
big is the
is.
tank?
It's the main frag tank at the store.
Okay.
4 foot by 4 foot. I think it equals out. I actually did dimensional measurements, inside measurements, minus overflow, minus sand, minus the top water gap, and it came to 86.13 gallons.
Spread
Which,
over 4 feet though.
yeah, which doesn't
Yeah.
seem like much when you really think about it. Because here I am. I've got, okay, well, this is 4 foot by 4 foot. I've got a 33 long that is 4 foot by 1 foot. So if I line up 4 of those, that equals out what, 132 feet
Yeah.
or 132 gallons.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't equal that.
Yeah.
Especially this is an acrylic tank, so it's 3/4 thick. It's an outside measurement. So subtract 1.5 inches on each side, or for each XY dimension, and then your
Also
Z
from the
dimension,
ground, yeah.
your depth.
Yeah.
Subtract 3/4 inch. Also subtract the depth of sand. Then subtract the volume at the top, that the water doesn't go all the way up to the top.
Right.
So there's another inch there. And I do that for actual computation of additives. If
Right.
I really want to know how many gallons I have, because that's the way they figure it.
So you can put the right minerals, right amount of minerals, like
Yes,
calcium and whatever.
and
so on.
it is very important that people understand that. Not so much on your side of the border, because you're not using the medications we use down here.
Yeah, we don't get any medications.
Yeah, exactly. The problem down here is medicines such as kanamycin, Canaplex, for instance. It's a very, very strong antibiotic.
Right.
It is very effective, but it is easy to put too much in when you think, oh, I have a 40 breeder, so I treat for 40 gallons. Well, you've got 20 pounds of rock in there. You've
10 pounds of
got
sand.
40 pounds of gravel.
Right.
You've got the 1/4 inch of glass on each side. So subtract a 1/2 inch on all XY dimensions.
Right. And the bottom
Um,
glass, yeah.
yeah, the bottom glass, same thing. And actually, because of that little black plastic lip,
That's another 1/2
subtract
inch.
more than a 1/4 inch,
Yeah.
and then subtract your water, because they give you the outside dimension volume when they measure, when they call it a 40 gallon.
It's actually only like 37 gallons
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, none of them are true in that.
Yeah.
So when dealing with medications, it's proper to try and figure out what is my proper tank volume. How much water do I have?
And I think speaking of that, I want to quickly talk about like levomysol. Like that's something we can actually not get, but like somewhat get through eBay and stuff. And for like fish deworming, and I use it pretty regularly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and a lot of people complain and they say, "Oh, it's so easy to overdose with levomysol." And I mean, here's the funny thing. Yes, it is easy to overdose because you only have to put like a 0.1 milligrams for 10 gallons of water or whatever it is. Like I'm not exactly sure the exact measurement. I have it written down somewhere. But if you go beyond that is when you can overdose. So you need to know how many gallons of water you have, and then like you said, you dose the right amount and you're not going to ever overdose. But if you don't calculate how many gallons of water you're treating, you're going to overdose your tank because you're assuming.
Curiosity, can you get dog dewormer?
No. Through the vet.
Through the vet only. Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say that I can't think of the medicine name. But there's a dog dewormer that we use with fish. And it ends in Zole, Z-O-L-E. I know that much. I just can't think of the rest of it.
Flubendazole or something like that?
Fenbendazole.
Yeah.
Yep. So that medication, and that's one that it's easy to overdose with, but there's a great little trick to it. So we can buy it in a box where there's 3 1-gram packets in a box, and it's for treating your dog. Well, you take that 1-gram packet and you put it in 500 milliliters of water.
Okay.
And then you dose that per the amount of gallons. So I think it's 50 milliliters per well, I forget the mix. Anybody else can look it up. I'm not going to give an incorrect number up there.
Right.
But the information's out there, and you put so much per gallon, and what I use it for is planaria. Wow, it'll knock planaria out in a heartbeat.
I need to get that for
hydras.
Okay.
Because I do a lot in shrimp, but the one thing I will warn people about, if you do it for shrimp, your shrimp will not die if you don't water change it afterwards. Just realize that. However, they won't keep breeding. I did this in my store tank and had to treat it. I saw a little bit of a hint of hydras popping up. And I can't have that in a shrimp tank. In a fish tank, I could care less.
Right.
But in a shrimp tank, they can hurt them. And I started treatment and never got back to the water change afterwards. I looked, I'm like, okay, well, all the shrimp are doing good. There's everything's fine. Filter will get the rest. Carbon will help a little bit. Well, then I started noticing, where are all the little babies? Because I used to be able to point to customers to show them, and I'd be able to show them a baby and say, well, this one, he's about 2.5 days old. Or this one, this one was just born probably 2 hours ago. And they would be all over that tank. Right. And then all of a sudden, none. And then I realized, okay, so did the water change and the babies came back. But
so it affects its breeding for sure.
the med that I got from you, Rob, worked like a charm. It took me a couple of days to build up my nerve. It had those rainbows in that one level that's connected of tanks that had picked up some fin rot, and I was showing it to you, and I think Ed, yeah, after the live stream a couple of weeks ago. But I think that was Canaplex, wasn't it? I'm not
Yeah,
at home,
yeah,
so I can't cheat and look.
yeah. I said kanamycin, but yeah, kanamycin is Canaplex.
I have
But
5 grams of that
their
stuff that I'm saving.
but their condition got worse and worse in just a couple of days. So the second day there was no sign of anything at all, and by the fifth day, it's 4 day treatment. But by the fifth day, I think it's 4 days or five. But by the last day of treatment, their fins had even grown back that quickly. So it really helped them.
It really
Good.
works. It's good
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's remarkable stuff. It's antifungal and antibacterial.
Yep, it worked great, and I still have plenty left, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to get with a new vendor to where because we're starting to run into issues on medications. Erythromycin has been unavailable. It should be just hitting the market again right about now. Um, Other medications, I'm sure, are going to go through this. So I'm looking at some of the more generics, like the one you bought from me, which was just straight kanamycin from my fish distributor.
Right.
And so I'm looking at buying from them. It's the exact same medications. It's just cheaper
It's
and
just
in
not
a
in a
different
fancy box.
container.
It's not in a fancy container.
Yeah. They at the fish distributor, which is actually here in Tennessee in Knoxville, they have the large volume powdered medications, and they package them up themselves.
Nice.
It's Aquatic Life. Many people have maybe heard of that company, or Aquatic Life Support, same company, but they are a major distributor. And actually, Bob, you shop at one of their stores from time to time, probably, if you've ever shopped
Yeah.
at Aquarium,
Uh,
that in
yeah.
Knoxville. That is their
Yep.
showroom.
Yeah.
They also own a retail store at the same time as being a distributor. Interesting mix.
Well, it's good to have, right?
Yeah. It gives them the ability to test out what customers want, and it's really kind of helped this area of Tennessee and what's available here.
Yep.
They bring in a bunch of very interesting stuff. Viv Glass, VIV, all the CO2 type stuff. Great prices. Seven Seas Aquatics is another one of the products I see. Um, oh, Up Aqua, another real good one that, and a lot of what they're bringing in is a lot of these European products.
Usually,
That
very, very well made European products are. I find very well made products, like especially
Yeah,
German.
especially the Viv Glass. They have one. It's a hand blown glass overflow.
Okay.
This thing's amazing. Beautiful. Probably
Yeah.
cost you around 150, but for an overflow, that's not expensive. But I
If it's
think it's
well
kind
made.
of I think it's kind of limited to probably about a 17-20 gallon.
Wow.
But it's uh, just a beautiful piece of work. So if you're ever doing a rimless low iron tank aquascape, and you want to do a sump down below to where you don't have the filter up there and you're doing high tech and all that, wanting to spend the money, that overflows the way to go.
Right.
Wow.
Just amazing.
Cool. Guys, do you see Pam's giving us the
Yeah.
thumbs rush?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
saw that.
she's playing Maria. And by the way, I forgot to mention, or Maria was in here before we started, I saw, and she may have said that she had to
I did see her
visit her
as well.
cousins. Yep, she had
She
to go
didn't
to
say
her
hi to
cousins.
anyone today, so
Yeah,
Yeah, we did our Father's Day last night. in my family, and
Oh,
God bless Andrew for covering the store because I went out to the boat at 2 o'clock.
wow.
First time I've left the store for that long, and since I had COVID, which
Wow.
was actually, I should stress, in December of 2019 when no one knew what it was, and I only missed one
Right.
day of work. I'm sorry, guys, if you caught it from me, but they told me I was safe. They said I didn't have the flu.
I haven't had it so far.
Yeah, I just got my first vaccine, so I'm kind of like, yeah, hopefully it's not gonna be around anymore. But
Yeah, it's. I think the last check I looked at, I think they said there were 16 new cases locally, um, and they get them daily, and that's the lowest number I've seen yet.
yeah,
In
That is
the
low. Yeah.
peak of things, it was 250 a day. Now we're
Oh,
down
yeah.
to 16. So those and the active cases. That's what I've been. They don't tell us that on the news, but you can go to the
the website.
county website and see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, that is what it was most important to me.
Yeah.
It's not how many have caught it. I care less that 40,000 people in our area have caught this thing. I need to know how many currently have it.
So that you know how much risk is there in the
Yes.
community. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
That's exactly how I think about it too.
Yeah, when it first started, I told my wife and my employee who had just started there at that time, and he was my first employee, and I told him, I'm sorry, I got to send you home during this time. My wife did not come into the store. It was just me. If anyone was going to be put at risk, only me. I couldn't put an employee there. And once we started to learn a little bit about it, and it wasn't as bad as what we were hearing, certainly it's bad. There's no question there.
Not to the level of like what they're making it to be. Though.
Right. Not to the level of I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Where everybody turns into zombies, and not that I ever suspected that, but just doing the safe side of things.
Yes.
And month later, yeah, everybody, okay, Andrew, come back to work. Yeah, if you want. And he, oh boy, he wanted to. And within a couple months, he became assistant manager and hired on another. Well, yeah, that was kind of the sad part. Is I promoted him to assistant manager, yet he was the only employee. But he got a hefty raise with it, and we got another employee put underneath him that doing very well.
Ames, be careful there because I have to see Rob Thursday, and I can't continue that.
You're absolutely correct. I do. Not to toot my own horn, but at the same time, we have a policy at the store of honesty.
Yeah.
If I can't be honest with you, if I have to lie to you to do business, it's going to come back and bite me in the rear. It's called karma.
Yes, sure.
Yes. Well, I mean, repeat business. People come to people when you're honest with them, they come back and buy more fish and buy more stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
And they tell their friends like go to this store, and that's what really creates business. It's all repeat business. It's not the first time somebody comes, they're gonna spend all their money on your store and they never come back. And that to think that this is the only time you're gonna see a customer, the only time that they're gonna come ever is like really not the right way to go about this, like because a lot of the money should be coming from like residual sales, like water dechlorinator or fish food, or you know what I mean, like filter materials, like those are like the regular, like so people keep coming back to that. If you treat them bad initially, you lie to them, whatever, they're not coming back.
Yep. Yeah, our business model is working very well for us.
Yeah.
On top of that, we have a thing. Every customer gets 10 minutes with someone that knows what they're doing.
Good.
So I don't, as it comes, the Petco and PetSmart and other big box stores, the customer leaves out of there with questions unanswered. I don't
Comments on
want that.
Facebook. Yeah, like what do I have in my tank?
Yeah.
You know, what do I feed it?
Yeah, exactly. Why is my Mbuna cichlid fighting with my Oscar?
Oh yeah, like
and that question actually came up this week.
it's so funny because I saw a post recently where they posted a picture of two Oscars and two African cichlids. One was hiding behind the heater, the other one was hiding behind the filter, and the two Oscars are like not big, but they're like maybe 3-4 inch. They're like dominant. They're in the middle of the tank. It's like a 30 gallon, and they're like, "Why is these two fish always hiding?" And I'm like, "Who told you that?" You know, like that's smart.
Well, and the funny thing is, well, the sad thing is the situation I'm telling you, where they sold these different continent cichlids to the guy for the same tank. It was a local fish store.
Oh, wow.
Not local here.
Yeah.
Not local
Right.
here. I do want to stress that because I don't want anybody pointing fingers here to the guy saying I'm talking bad because it wasn't here. But yeah, it was a local fish store, and this was a fish tourist. I guess you could call it. He's just getting in the hobby, and he stopped at the store and hit everyone in town. We have a few that do that. I used to do it all the time.
And then he just got sold these 5-6 different animals from different places. That
and that's a possibility. But he told me that the guy told him, yeah, these guys will do great together. They'll be great in your tank.
Because he knows that you're gonna die, and then he's gonna come back and try to replace them.
Man, sometimes I wonder if they get commission.
Right?
Yeah. Or
so
just
true.
Don't care.
That's true, Bob. That's so true. It's that, and it's just some type of malevolence, like some type of evil in there that I cannot like put my finger on, but it's there, you know, and it bothers me. Yeah.
You just don't care.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we did go over very easily. All I had to do is keep my mouth shut again. And,
sorry, Bob.
Sorry about that, Bob.
No, I got to say everything I wanted to say for sure. I'm here to learn. So we'll stop, I guess. I hate to, but you can tell I'm in a parking lot, I guess.
It's dark out now, so
it's a raid at my house. That's not even funny.
You got swatted.
Swatted me. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, and thank you for everybody for being here. And it was an awesome discussion. I enjoyed it. Malik, thank you for being our guest again, our special guest.
Thank you for having me again.
Thanks, Malik.
And thanks, Rob.
Yes.
Loved
it.
Thank you,
Rob. Awesome.
And Bob, thanks.
See everybody. Thank you, mods, and thank you, members.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for the super chat.
Guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.